Acolyte. What have you done to the fandom? Now, I'm undeniably late to the party on this one. Why, you may ask? Well, I really had no plans to watch this show. To say I haven't been a fan of much of what Disney has done with the Star Wars brand since acquiring Lucasfilm back in 2012 would be kind of an understatement. I did, however, thoroughly enjoy the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, and yeah, that's about it. Oh yeah, I never did finish the first season of Andor, but I was, however, thoroughly impressed with the production design, tone, and overall feel of the show. But the characters just simply failed to grab me. Perhaps I should finish Andor and review it someday. Let me know if you'd like me to in the comments section. So, The Acolyte, how bad is it? Is it as terrible as the toxic fandom is making it out to be? Is it as terrific, brave, stunning, and groundbreaking as the shills claim it to be? Is it somewhere in the middle? I will do my best to simply talk about the show on its own merit and not focus too much on the, controversies. So, let's dive in, shall we?
100 years before the rise of the Empire, it is a time of peace. The Jedi Order and the Galactic Republic have prospered for centuries without war. But in the dark corners of the galaxy, a powerful few learn to use the Force in secret. One of them, a lone assassin, risks discovery to seek revenge.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, I guess. It's a bit clunky, but yeah, moving on. The show then takes us to faithful viewers to the planet of Ueda, where a mysterious hooded female is looking for a Jedi. The first person she asks,
"Where is your Jedi?"
in exchange for some coins, immediately points her to the right direction. How she knows there's only a single Jedi in the entire planet is a mystery. What if there were several Jedi? 20? 100? Well, don't ask questions, just consume product.
Don't ask questions, just consume product.
Our mysterious hooded female then enters a cantina/bar of sorts in a scene that's totally not forcefully trying to get the viewers to remember the introductory cantina scene in A New Hope. Nope, not at all. Anyway, we're introduced to Jedi Master Indara, played by the always reliable Carrie-Ann Moss, Trinity herself, the actress, which the entirety of the marketing campaign was based around for the show. I think you know where I'm going with this. Our mysterious hooded female approaches Trinity and strikes a ridiculous pose only to utter, "Strike me with all your strength." Ah, she must be the revenge-seeking assassin that's risking discovery that the opening crawl told us about. Ooh, how ingenious. After being treated to frankly a pretty middling, overlong fight scene which the showrunner proudly and smugly described as forceful, jam-packed with awkward fight choreography that tries way too hard to emulate Ang Lee's masterful Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon to pretty cringeworthy results. And if that wasn't bad enough, the entire scene comes complete with a generic as generic can be musical score, totally out of place for a Star Wars show. In case there was any doubt, our mysterious hooded assassin ends up winning by throwing a dagger which stabs Trinity's heart. Yeah, the actress in which the entire show was pre-marketed around lasts approximately 4 minutes. Oh, you bet you didn't see that one coming. Yeah, we're subverting all expectations here, aren't we? Forgive me for not feeling a single iota of emotion here, as I don't know a single thing about Trinity. Like, literally nothing except for the fact that she's a Jedi and she's Trinity. The showrunners probably all high-fived each other, believing that they accomplished the ultimate subversion of audience expectation, but no, sorry. It was evident that this show wouldn't be able to keep an actress of Carrie-Ann Moss's caliber around for the entirety of the season. Moving on, our mysterious assassin then makes her way down to the bar to collect her misplaced dagger, and then considers killing the bartender. You know, the leave no witness thing, but then has second thoughts when she sees the bartender has a child, and then she leaves. Oh gee, I wonder if this will somehow tie into the story later on.
The Acolyte.
Oh boy, we're already in for a rough start. We're finally introduced to who I assume will be our main character moving forward for the show, Osha. She's force sensitive, works as a mechanic on a Nemoidian ship, and seems to be enjoying her life talking to her pocket-sized little robot friend, Pip. Basic, generic, vanilla writing tropes to get us invested in her character, right? Wrong. She's very much a charisma vacuum. Sorry, I have never seen this actress in anything else prior to The Acolyte. Amandla Stenberg, is it? Well, she could be an Oscar winner for all I know, but her performance here is super weak, never coming off convincingly either as the mech-neck protagonist Asha or the dark assassin antagonist May. She often has the same expressionless look on her face, regardless of the character she's meant to be playing. Oh, and a little side note, giving her the exact same identical hairstyle to her twin just screams lazy and dumb. Like, the showrunner and makeup department couldn't be bothered to change Amandla's hair every time she needed to play either Asha or May. Turns out that mech-necks are actually mechanics. I mean, who would have guessed? Oh, and Asha's a real pro at keeping fire burning in space. I guess there's oxygen in space now. Who knows? I ain't no rocket surgeon. But seriously, the fire seems to put our little Asha into some kind of a trance, like, oh my god, this is totally not foreshadowing some gigantic traumatic past event involving fire. This is all but too predictable at this point for a show described as a murder mystery. So far, the only mysterious thing about it is how this script was approved. Somehow, completely out of the blue, the Jedi arrive to arrest little Asha. Why? Well, turns out the surviving bartender described what she looked like to the Jedi, and in a galaxy filled with trillions of people, they knew exactly who the bartender spoke of. I guess there's just not that many black chicks in space with red-colored braided hair. Oh, Jesus. It is at this very moment we're introduced to the asshole who thinks Anakin blew up the Death Star.
People have been talking to me online about how Darth Vader is such a bad person. It's very clear, and it's very well established from those actions. But if you can't look and see that Anakin blowing up the Death Star possibly killed millions and millions of people. I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this right now.
Yeah, you should just shut up.
It's
You
just
should
like,
shut up. I love that. You should shut up.
That's right, Charlie Barnett playing a Jedi Knight named Yort Fandar. His character is as smug and as ill-informed as the actor who portrays him in real life, which makes for some terrific accurate casting. Bravo! Every scene he's in, you can just feel the assertion he's feeling that Anakin will one day blow up the Death Star. Anyway, the Jedi arrest Asha, and oh god, I can't do this anymore. I really did intend on reviewing the entire episode somewhat chronologically, but this first episode was so unbelievably joyless. I mean, even the first episode of The Rings of Power provided more entertainment than this. Primarily because that show was at least unintentionally hilarious. The Acolyte is simply just dumb all around. So let me give you the Cliff's Notes. Asha escapes custody, crash lands on a snow planet without so much as a scratch. Saul saves her, brings her into the Jedi. We meet a mysterious Sith Lord who wears a helmet. We know he's a Sith Lord because he takes the time to ignite his red lightsaber to showcase to the audience he's a Sith Lord. Boom! Episode 1 done. When it comes down to it, the biggest problem with The Acolyte is that it's just an absolute generic, stale, uninspired, amateur, and predictable bore. The sets look cheap, obvious, and sterile. The music/background score is absolutely and painfully bland, often sounding really out of place for a Star Wars show, and most of the actors either look confused or bored half the time. The only person who genuinely seems to want to be there, giving his all, is Lee Jung-jae as Jedi Master Saul, an actor, by the way, who learned to speak English solely for the role. Solely Saul. Get it? I suppose the most shocking thing about The Acolyte is that it has a reported budget of around $180 million. I mean, it really doesn't look or feel like it. Take, for example, the very first season of Westworld, a show which came out nearly 8 years ago. That show looks and feels expensive with unbelievable high production value, terrific cinematography, many on-location shoots, and absolutely brilliant performances from extremely capable actors. And guess how much that show cost? $100 million. The Acolyte cost almost double. Where the hell is that money going? Is Lucasfilm running a money laundering scheme? I mean, we can even take an expensive show like House of the Dragon, a show which has 10 episodes in its first season and still came under what the Acolyte cost for its total of 8 episodes. Whether you love or hate House of the Dragon, you cannot deny the unbelievable and impressive high production design in that show. The costumes, the sets, the music, the visual effects. What is going on with Disney's bloated budgets? At this point, I'm having to really force myself, no pun intended, to watch this show just so you guys don't have to. For all the major publication outlets that reviewed the show and claimed it was a gripping or a well-executed murder mystery is frankly talking out of their asses, or they simply received a giant payoff to praise the hell out of this. Any person who understands the art of storytelling, script writing, and filmmaking cannot possibly be taken seriously if they truly 100% legitimately believe this is a well-made, well-written show. I understand the taste is subjective and one person's trash is another person's treasure, yada yada yada, but no, if you're going to critique this purely from a technical and storytelling standpoint, this show is just unbelievably mediocre. In closing, is this the worst thing ever made? No, it's just poorly written, poorly constructed, poorly directed, poorly acted, poorly scored. Is this the worst product that post-Disney Star Wars has dished out? Honestly, yes. And I don't know how any self-respecting fan of storytelling or Star Wars could say otherwise. I have to go now. Somewhere out there in the void, exorcism needs performing.